Greetings. It is I, Albayon, and I come to you tonight to share my love, my light, my energies. And I do want to send a rolling ball of energy. Let it roll down through everybody that is here. May each one of you feel the love, the support, and the knowledge that we're here for you. We are here. I believe I was last time I might have said that there aren't as many out in the universe, but there's still plenty of us that are there. Shelly had some good statements about how you are living this experience. And then when you look back at it somewhere down the road, that perspective is going to change. And that is very true. You can even just look at your own life and what happened to you when you were in your 20s that now you look back and, oh, did that really happen to me? It's almost as if it's a nothing. So this is just the way that it is with humanity. It is incredibly hard to be in these waffling energies. I know the energies are changing sometimes minute by minute, day by day. However, you guys are doing a great job. From the time that I made that mini last week, and then Shelly did the post where we talked about, energizing the timeline, you guys have just really stepped up to the plate. And my point is that it may be like 24, maybe 30 or 40 people, meaning it's not hundreds and thousands of people, but that's all it takes to make a difference. So I can see a change in the energies of the timeline. I can see a change in what's available for people. So this is also a lesson of learning how to be in your head, as they say, and how to be in the space of the bigger picture. Sometimes another way of talking about that is the importance of detaching. Whenever someone is in a situation, no matter what that situation may be, it may be very frightening. It may be the most joyous time of your life. Whenever you're in that moment, and then you start getting all caught up in your head, thinking, analyzing, potentialities, all of those different things, that takes you out of the true emotional experience. Your emotions are really, it's almost like you could say that the analytical is giving you the framework, and then your emotions are what allow you to really experience something. So that being said, I understand. I just heard people say, yeah, it's my emotions pulling me down. True that. I know that that does happen. However, it can be your emotions that also allow you to have the most fabulous, wonderful experience at this time of ascension. For a very long time, like when I connect with people in the universe, and as you know, it's a different time, space, reality. And when I connect with some of you now, isn't this interesting? I didn't realize this until this very moment. Now, some of you that are here are actually coming back, not as your future self that's there to support yourself, but you, the essence of you in this moment is like filtering through your soul and now coming back and say, oh yeah, that was hard as hell. It was hard, 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 hard. So, and I don't think I've ever noticed that before. So there must be something that's shifting or something that's changing, that there is so many of you. Okay, I just asked the question. I heard someone say, well, is that because these people have already died and then they're coming back to experience it? It doesn't feel as if it's that as much as people's consciousness is really expanding, and they're shifting and moving through, your soul, and you're moving and supporting other aspects of yourself. And those other aspects of yourself are coming in and really supporting you in this lifetime. So it's kind of sort of a combination of everything. Okay, so I wanted to say that. I feel like there's one more thing I wanted to say. I can't remember, but I will talk about Shelley's question here. When going back into the timeline, going back to the consciousness. So consciousness and unconsciousness, those are very, very much a part of what influences you in your life. Those things that you are conscious about, says it right there. You're conscious. You know that, oh my gosh, I got all caught up in that. I was in my mental body. It pulled me out of my divine. You were fully aware that that was what happened. So then you can make a choice to pay attention and not let that happen again. But then you have your unconsciousness. Your unconsciousness is sometimes things that were programmed before you were born. Sometimes they're from these other lifetimes. Sometimes they're from your current lifetime, but just sitting there, taking up space. And so I do want to say this, that even those of you that are so solidly on this pathway and you understand and sometimes when you're getting those doubts, that's actually being feeded into you from your unconsciousness, giving you an opportunity to filter or to debate or to decide what is your truth, what is your reality. So it's not 100% that, because there are some people that are just picking it up from the consciousness of others. But what I'm seeing right now in this now moment is that for a lot of you, it's actually coming in through your unconsciousness. So pay attention to that. And if you so choose, you can just go into meditation, and just like you're sending a ball of white light through your unconsciousness, let it just clear out things that are of a lower vibration, or clear out things that are no longer going to serve you. Because as you evolve, oh, thank you. I just saw the happy birthday. Sorry. ADD. Anyway, as you evolve, there are going to be certain things that will no longer be needed, but yet you needed it in your unconsciousness in order to get through particular situations. And this is why it's important to know that it's not that way for your entire lifetime. It's not that way, even like, okay, I needed that for about 5 or 6 years there, and now I'm moving on and I'm in a new space. And then, goodbye. Thank you for being there to be that strength that I needed to have in that moment. Okay, so I did want to talk about that. Now then, let's talk. So coming back around to the consciousness, what I want to do is I'm going to go into that timeline, and I will just describe to you what I am seeing. I know many of you are clairvoyant, clairsentient, have many different, what do you call them, gifts and abilities also. So as I'm tapping into the timeline and describing what I see, I invite you to put your perceptions in there too, because then everyone, can read it, they can hear it, and it's all pieces of the puzzle that make up the whole. So as I'm connecting to this timeline, to me, it looks like it's this great big round circle. And as I'm looking at this circle, it's like it's a hollow tube, you could say, but it's not a tube because it's not rigid. It's soft and flexible. And what I'm seeing is up at the top, it's almost like a half circle. And what's interesting is that it covers the sides equally, and then there's a thicker space up at the top of it, and this is the highest vibration and frequency. And what this does, the way it's coming across to me, is purples, magenta, silvers, gold. All of these really high vibrational frequencies are sparkling within this space. What I also do as I'm looking at it is I can hear a tone or a frequency, like a bzz. It's not a buzzing tone, but it's almost like it's a heartbeat, or it's a vibration with movement. And so as I'm looking at it and feeling it, I can literally see waves of movement that are going through that space. That is what stands out to me as the most predominant, and I believe it is the highest vibration. Somewhat down, sinking to the bottom. And what's interesting is it does not have a curve like this, but it's literally a horizontal plane. What I see in this plane is rigid, I guess is the best word to call it. I see people, I see businesses, I see conversations, I see people's thoughts that are coming out. And it just instead of that big, beautiful, expansive vibration, it's tiny and it's shut down and it's barely moving, because a lower vibration has less flow and less movement to it. This is the bottom, literally 1%. Not it. This is not by any means the majority, but it's there. And it is a big part of why you're struggling to pull the energies up. So then I see another layer, and this one is coming across as gray. Within this layer, it's almost like you're looking at sand. And this sand, there is a movement that goes through it, but it has more movement than that black solid at the bottom, but it's as if it's just there. And what I see in this one are people talking to each other, and I see gossip, and I see people that are stuck in the old energy, would be one way of saying that, but I don't like to, I'm trying to be objective here, and I guess that's kind of a judgment. So these people are all talking to one another, but what I notice as I'm looking at them, it's like they don't see this big, massive, beautiful flow of energy that's up above them. They only see what's there in that frequency. And then as we come up a little bit more, and now here I see that high vibrational frequency on the side. Here is where I see a lot of people that are the ones like you guys that are questioning things, that are open-minded, that are asking about what does this mean, that are asking about the history, that are asking about and saying, why did we do this? And in this one, I see people interacting. Oh, this is very interesting. So what I see on this one is large movement. So the colors that I see associated with this is orange and red and yellow. Okay, the lower chakras, you could say. But what's interesting is I see things going by, like not necessarily airplanes per se, but I now see movement of things and people that are going through this space, not lengthwise, but horizontally. Isn't that interesting? Okay. And then going up above that, you begin to see people that are, oh, now I get it. Now it feels so much better. Now I see this reality. So it's below that, which is the highest vibration, but it's everyone that comes to that awareness. So they may stay in that spot for a while, or they may move through that and go straight up. And this one is beginning to have sparkles of white light, and it's beginning to have like a pulsation to it. So I don't know how many that is. One, about what, 5, 6 layers? And each one of those would have been 5 or 6 strands of different timelines, because each one would have represented the consciousness of that timeline. So now, as I'm looking at all of this together, and as we are merging, okay, I'm hearing several different things we can do. We can, just as we saw those threads like twisting together to make a rope, we can twist all of these different bits of consciousness and awareness together, but I'm not sensing that's the best way to do it. So what I'm going to do, and I invite everyone to help me that would like, that light that has the pulsation of a heartbeat, that's the highest frequency. It's as if we're going to pull on that energy, and we're going to bring that energy down, and it's first going to merge with everyone that's having that, aha, there's something else. And then we're going to bring it down, and we're going to all pull it into, and we're going to merge it with everybody that's questioning and wondering, but they might still get caught up in stuff, but they know there's something else. And we're just going to pause for a moment and feel this movement. It's like a ripple that is moving up and down. And what's interesting is, like, if you look at a circle and here's half, this is like 2/3 of it. So when I first looked at all those different levels of consciousness within this, I could see, those 5 or 6 different delineations. And it was like 4 of them equaled half, but now 3 of them are equaling 2/3. So that's showing you how quickly you can move through and pull this through the other energy. So the next thing that we want to do is keep pulling it down. We're going to bring it down now into those that are looking around, that are talking to each other, that are all caught up in their world, not realizing there's more. And we want to merge with that. Okay. Okay. I just saw someone go knock, 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 knock on everyone's little bubble around them. So knock, knock on every bubble. Whew, and let's just clear it all out, get rid of those bubbles, and then let this frequency just gently move down into and around each one of them. Some, it's very interesting. The image I see, some are going like, what it's like they're looking like they're in a trance. They're just looking. It's like they stop talking in the middle of a sentence and they're just looking. And all of this energy is just seeping into them and seeping into the areas around them. So then we get down to the ones where they just, they're just caught up. They're angry. They're the low vibrations. They're the lower frequencies. And we want that all to oh, this is very interesting. Whereas before I felt like we were pulling down, this time it looks like we're pushing down. So as we go into that, and this one we want to specifically call out the nefarious ones. We want to call out those people that are deliberately being horrible to other people. And because that's a part of this. And we want to send that high vibrational frequency into every one of them. And that they must become balanced in alignment with this, or their life is unbearable to them. And then we just keep sending that energy down. We just keep pushing it down. We just keep putting it into there. And then for those that just simply, be it intelligence, be it fear in their lives, anger, whatever it may be, that are just not open to anything, we send it into them. Okay, now I'm just going to send balls and waves of this, just sending it down through that timeline. From this now moment, we want it to go into the minutes, the hours, the days, the weeks, just sending it down into that, integrating the highest vibrational frequency into everything else. Whew, just send it down. Woo! So I'm going to let that go. Just let it all go. And what I want to do now is, okay, I would like to see what this timeline of the consciousness of the planet looks like. Interesting. Now I'm seeing, like, from the center of it, this green, not like Kelly green, but like an emerald green. This emerald green in the center of it with this sparkling white light is now at the center of the consciousness of this timeline and sending waves out into everything. So that's how you change the frequency of a timeline. You can take the time to acknowledge the different levels or not even bother with that. Simply align with the highest light vibrational frequency and let it swirl through, blending with everything that is within that timeline. We are not forcing anyone to receive it, but the more that it's around people, the more that people will receive it, because they're just going to know. They're just going to feel different. And they have, most likely, the majority that were in that, that one level, most likely they've been feeling for a while, there's something going on, there's something different, there's something I need to know, there's something coming. They just had no idea what it was. So now this is just going to shift it and make it a little bit quicker. Whew. Just sending it out. So if y'all had any other perspective as you were just looking at that you think might help this situation, then please feel free to share it. Whew. Okay. So I'm going to take a step back and let that go. So what's my summary of this? The high vibrational frequency is the predominant frequency within this timeline. And as you get stuck, be it through your mental body or whatever it may be, and get pulled down into those lower frequencies, that makes you think that there are multiple timelines still. It's not the same one. So just be aware and consciously work with it to make sure that that blending and that balancing is what everyone feels. Okay, so then another question, since we're speaking of consciousness right now, we've talked ad nauseum, you could say, about the quantum financial system, about the turnover. And there are many people that say, no, it's not done. No, it's not over here. No, it's not there. And there's a lot of people that feel like the only way that it could go into play is if the stock market completely goes to zero or completely crashes. And the same with their banks, that their banks have to completely crash in order for this to take place. Now, I've said, no, I don't see that. However, let me just look at the consciousness of the money as it is on this day. I see the majority of the consciousness of the money as being a high vibration. I see that you could say, and it looks like gold. It doesn't look like paper. It looks like gold and silver and other solid minerals. I also see the consciousness of money as like people's dollars or whatever your country's paper money is. I see that as being a shadow, as in it's not the same solid as the gold that is predominant. So that can mean a couple of different things. It can mean that represents the old system, it's just a shadow of what it was. It can mean it's the new monies that are coming in and they have not fully taken place. You could look at that one of two ways. My sense is that it's showing you that the old system it's like when you go on your computer and you're trying to do something and it's grayed out and you don't have access to it. That's what that is looking like to me. There's probably a certain degree of it that is still the old energy, the old systems that are still in place because in certain parts of the world or for certain things they're still being used. However, the predominant was the quantum financial system, which is the consciousness of a higher vibration and a higher frequency. So, what is the consciousness of the stock exchange? We're looking at the one in the United States. Each country has their own, but I would imagine each country is going to be similar to what the United States is. So here's the Wall Street. Here's the stock exchange. And what is the consciousness here? Very interesting. You know how in every movie that you see, there's like ding, 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 and people are running up and down and they're frantic and they're yelling. And that's just the perception that so many people have of the stock exchange. So when I said, what is the consciousness of the stock exchange? I saw people talking to one another. I saw them walking up and down. It felt calm. It felt relaxed. It felt completely under control. There was zero that showed fear, anxiety, or they're about to crash. So let me do this. Whoever it is that's in charge of the whole stock exchange, whoever's up there at the top, if you are maybe manipulating that the stock is that it's all gonna crash, that it's all gonna come down, is that something you want to have happen? No, that guy is gone and I've taken his place. So he's been changed out, whoever that guy was. I have no idea. Okay, so what is your perspective of things? Well, I'm just waiting for the day they tell me, flip it all over. They have been slowly over the past year to 18 months converting many, many of the things within this. They have many of the corporations that were filled with corrupt individuals have been slowly weeding out. Well, this has been going on for 8 years, slowly weeding out a lot of those people. And so those things were all being done slowly and in the background to create stability. So, for anyone, I don't know who you are, I don't know how you connected to me, but if you want to know what is my thought on the stock exchange, and yes, I acknowledge I am the head of the stock exchange, I'm in charge. Um, we know that a change is coming. It's already been planned out. We've already taken steps. It's fine. We are going to be fine. There will be very crazy changes that take place, and it will make a lot of people anxious, but it serves no one for this to crash. And so we've created change. We've been doing it gradually over a very long time. So when that final change takes place, it'll be like, oh, we're done finally. Oh, we're in the new place finally. I'm a little impatient for that to happen because I'm trying to juggle these two things right now, but I know it's coming and I think it's imminent. Well, thank you, sir. Okay.